There you go, Riggs. Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. We'll just give it a couple of minutes, Sam, just to make sure we don't have any, we miss any latecomers.
Yeah, I got a few waiting to join now, so it should be.
Yeah, that's good then. We just need to make sure we find out who our two are without the visual.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, we got the recording going. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Cam is one that we won't see Cam.
Okay. Hey guys, listen as well. Don't you just love delivery day? Got my favourites come today. Happy days. These beauties will be getting somewhere in the next few weeks, I promise you. And guess what? I'm going to go all GK icon.
You got good taste, Tony.
I've even got the ball to go with it as well.
Oh.
So there we go. There we go. Happy days. I get spoiled. So sorry, guys. Those gloves are brilliant, by the way. So is anybody else, any of our keepers wearing those at the minute? No? Ah, Sam, you've got them. No?
Oh.
I got all of them, mate.
I'm hoping all our keepers are actually wearing GK icon. I'm hoping we're not drifting to other brands. Is that the case?
Old school.
So give us a thumbs up if you're actually wearing GK icon gloves. Come on, guys. Be honest. No hiding behind the cameras now. Ah, fantastic.
Oh, Maxine, no thumbs up from Maxine.
Those look a bit worse for wear, Mark, then. Oh, well, he's got his Apex. He's brilliant. Any more coming in, Sam?
That looks to be it, mate. There's no one in the waiting room, so we'll.
Right. Is everybody okay? Are we all ready to crack on? Give us a thumbs up. Yeah, we're ready to go. Brilliant. Okay. Well, guys, listen. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, Mark. Are you trying to do a plug for me tonight? Thank you, mate. Yeah. Yes, I do have a book. It is available. Yes. Is that signed? Oh, okay. Okay, guys. So listen, great to see everyone. Thank you very much for joining us again. I think this is the third of our get-togethers, and I have to tell you, I've been doing a lot of webinars during the last 6 to 8 weeks during the lockdown situation, and I've been sharing the knowledge and working with a lot of different people across the world, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been fantastic. And these meetings that I've had with you guys have given me as much joy as any others that I've actually done. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Hopefully you are, and you're getting lots of new learning from it. We have to apologise for Eric not being here tonight. I'm not sure whether we need to go into too much detail as to why, but obviously Eric's not too well at the moment. We do wish him well. We hope he recovers quickly, and we look forward, hopefully, to seeing him on the next one, if not the one after that. So, fingers crossed. All the best, Eric, and our thoughts are with you anyway at this time. So, we're gonna keep rolling, and we'll keep raising the flag higher for Eric. So. That's why we're going to continue tonight. We didn't want to cancel it. We thought we'd keep going. So, the aim of this third one, guys, I think we've, as a group of coaches, had discussions, and we felt that the first two was a lot of detail, a lot of sort of talking and information being shared by myself and obviously the other coaches. But we're also mindful that we need to try and make these a little bit more thought-provoking and interactive for you guys. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to be vocal all the time, or we have to sort of draw things out. But we want you to sort of play more of a part in the thought processes during these webinars, and actually recognising the holistic role that the goalkeeper plays, and looking at your development and what you need to be thinking about and doing in terms of becoming a better goalkeeper. So that's what we're going to try and do tonight. We're going to experiment with the breakout rooms again. So we will try that. Sam's been kind enough to allow us the use of his Zoom program. So Sam's going to lead with the presentation tonight. He's got my presentation, so he's going to sort of go through the slides for us. So we're not going to be jumping back and forth. We will shortly be going into breakout rooms. So I think looking at the numbers, Sam and Mark,
Yep.
we can probably split the group into 3 breakout rooms.
Yep.
Sam, you can have one. Mark, you can have one. I think, Josh, if you can lead one of the breakout rooms for us, do you mind doing that? Is that okay? And then we'll split the goalkeepers into 3 groups. Is that okay, Sam?
Yep.
Comfortable enough to do that? And
Yep.
again, you know, some of this might not go perfectly, guys, but we're doing our best, and we'll try and remedy things as we go along. Okay, so we're going to kick on. Obviously, I'll be sort of leading and doing a lot of the sort of introductions and giving you the detail and information. But Sam, Mark, and obviously Josh, who's joined us as well, can play just as much of an active part in that. Again, as normal, guys, if you have any questions, you know, if you want to discuss anything or you're not sure about something, you can either unmic yourself, unmute yourself, and then talk to us, or you know, just put your hand up, or you know, we'll come to you, and then you can obviously discuss that situation or that issue. There's no problem with that. It is about you more tonight. Okay. So Sam, if you want to put the presentation on, mate, that'd be brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me go to share screen.
Some of the things we'll be looking at, some of the slides we'll be referring to, guys, you will have seen. Hopefully Eric has shared all of the presentation with you, so you'll be familiar with the slides anyway, and we will be referring again to those 5 elements of development. Okay, so we're on part 3, but again I've titled it part 3, goalkeeper interaction, GK interaction. And that means that you're going to play more of an active part this evening, okay? So I'll put a little slide on, guys, slide 2, if you want to move to that, Sam. So if you want to go just to the whole presentation, Sam.
Can you not see that screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
My screen's the full presentation now.
Right, on the slideshow?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all right. It's not on mine, so I don't know whether the keepers will see the same.
Right there.
That's okay. That's not an issue because I think they can see. Okay. So basically, guys, what I've tried to sort of get across to you here, because we looked at the 5 elements of development, the slides, and the first one we sort of touched on was the technical slide. And we're looking at distribution. That's been our focus, and it will be, obviously it has been for the 3 webinars up to now. It will be for the next one. But I think, again, the reason for that, everyone, is just now the importance around the fact that the goalkeeper now, on average, and again, depending on the level that you get to, but the higher level you go, the more senior level you get to, the goalkeeper is now having, on average, 7 times more touches with the feet than they are with the hands. So, the other thing is, guys, those touches with the hands aren't necessarily to make saves. It's just a contact with the hand. It could be just to pick the ball up, to roll the ball out. It's not necessarily a save. So 70% more times than not on average is around figure in terms of contacts with the feet, compared to 30% contacts with the hands. And I think that's why now, guys, we've when we talked about what we're going to do with you guys, we wanted to sort of look at this side of the goalkeeper's role first, but also the development of you guys and on more understanding around this. And I think more relevance, guys, in particular, if you're going to move on to college and go and work at a decent level in college, I would expect that the philosophy of the coach, depending on obviously their knowledge of the game, would be around about the goalkeeper having the capability and the ability to play out from the back. So the more detail and understanding we can give you that now, if you do get that opportunity to go to college, really it should become second nature to you, and you'll go there with this knowledge and understanding, and then you'll be able to adapt quicker to perhaps that kind of philosophy, should the coach have that kind of philosophy. Okay? So if you jump on, Sam. So important point there, 70% contacts with the feet compared to 30 hands. Okay. Got it.
All right.
Not moved on mine. I think you just have to click the screen and move it on. Is it moved on yours?
Yeah, it's moved on mine.
Right, it's static on mine.
I got characteristics of the goalkeeper in the modern game now.
Right, so what's the, you need to go back one to slide 3.
5 elements of development.
Yeah, okay.
The one.
So Sam, do you just want to read that comment out on there because it's not on mine? Yeah.
Yep, I can move the screen through. So it says, looking at how the 5 elements of development affect and influence the goalkeeper in any given situation or scenario.
Brilliant. Okay, so what we're looking at, guys, is how our 5 elements of development, not just whether it be technical ability, whether it be the goalkeeper's tactical understanding, but how all 5 of our elements of development actually affect the goalkeeper in any given situation or scenario, whether that be playing with your feet, playing out from the back. It could be you're out of possession as a team and you're having to deal with a 1v1. There's so many things that influence and affect the process of you actually affecting the game in those moments. And that's what I want us to again, continue to think about tonight. So again, you know, when I created these slides and we looked at the characteristics, we talked about technical ability. We talked about the tactical awareness. We also talked about the physical side in terms of your development, your psychological profiling, and how much your mind affects you in any given situation. And then also, are you socially and emotionally connected to the rest of your team? Okay, that's better, Sam. I've got it on full screen now. But these all have an effect on you when you're playing the game. But again, guys, that's why we want to sort of get you thinking about that tonight. We're going to watch some clips and we're going to get you to think about what's going through the goalkeeper's train of thought and the processes are going through in these given moments and what's affecting them more than other things. Okay, move it on, Sam. Okay, so move on to the next one.
What screen can you see? I've got the next slide now.
Yeah, I've got characteristics.
Okay, next one from that.
Yeah.
That one there.
Yeah, okay. So that's just the model, guys. That's the rationale and the reasoning behind the 5 elements of development. I'm not going to dwell on that. But basically, again, like I've just talked about, it's that holistic approach to development. But also I think it's about how we can support you, how your coach can support you. So do they have access to video footage? Can they work on you analytically? So can they review your games? Can they reflect with you? Can they discuss these things with you and help you holistically develop, obviously by accessing other resources, okay? But what we're trying to get the coaches to think about is how this may have an effect or non-effect on you if they don't try to develop you holistically, okay? Thanks, Sam.
No worries.
Okay, so what I've added here, guys, and again, just some real food for thought for you, is to consider the demands on the goalkeeper when the team is in possession. So what is the role of the goalkeeper? What are the things that affect the goalkeeper now when the team is in possession? And how does that correspond with our elements of development? Okay. So we've already alluded to the fact now that the goalkeeper has probably around about 70% contacts with their feet. Now they must be technically excellent. Okay. So when you look at the range of passing that the goalkeeper needs, you know, you need to have a good first touch. You need to be able to play, you know, different range of passing, side foot, driven pass, lofted pass, wedge, because you need to be able to get the ball to different areas of the pitch depending on the context of the game, okay? Can you play with both feet? Yeah, so, you know, now the multifunctional goalkeeper in the modern game, most goalkeepers can now play with both feet. Obviously, the higher level you go, a lot of the goalkeepers will play with both feet. So they don't just rely on that dominant foot. So all I would suggest to you guys, as much as you possibly can when you're practicing, when you're training, Try not to just focus your development on what you would perceive to be your best foot. Practice using your other foot. Practice the technique side of that, but also practice using it under a little bit of pressure as well. So you don't have too much time to think about using that foot, and you get used to dealing with the pressure when you're actually trying to use what you perceive to be your weaker foot. Okay. You'll tend to find, guys, that you need to be more integrated with the team when you're practicing now. And any coach worth their salts, in particular the head coach, the assistant coach, would look to get you involved in practice with the rest of the group as much as they can. Yes, you need to do your isolated work, obviously to work on your techniques and to continue your technical development around all aspects of your game. But the more you can get integrated in with the group, the more decision-making situations you will be faced with in your practices in training. So it's very important, guys, that you try and not force that, but encourage that with your goalkeeper coach and with your head coach or assistant coaches, because then you get an opportunity to also connect with your teammates, which is vitally important. You're going to need to be brave in possession. So again, what does that look like? And we're going to talk about that when we watch the footage, when we go into our 5-element slides. But now you need to be brave in possession, okay? And you're going to have to deal with the ball under pressure, okay? The movement of the goalkeeper becomes a lot more physical now. We're not just going to defend the goal. So you're going to be expected to support and move around the area and the field over a greater distance. And we've now collated information that the goalkeeper can cover up to 6 kilometres a game, obviously depending on the levels and the type of game that you're playing in. But the goalkeeper can cover a lot of distance now. Now, most of that will be anaerobically. It won't be aerobically, and you're covering long distances for long periods. It'll be short bursts of energy over short distances. But because you're involved in the play much more now, or you should be, and again, it also depends on the opposition and the level of play that you're in, then you should be moving around a lot more now, more than ever. So the physical preparation in your training needs to befit that. And, it's very important that your coaches understand and recognise the types of movements you make in a game, but then to relate your practices to those type of movements, okay? And then we talk about varying formations, varying philosophies. So can you adapt to different coaches' philosophies and way of playing? And obviously at the bottom there, we talk about communication. So how do you communicate? What are you communicating? And why are you communicating? Okay, and then obviously we can touch on that a little bit tonight, and that predominantly will be on that social slide. So, coaches, anything from you on that at the moment?
Just think when you're watching the clips, just think about all these things that are going on, and how the goalkeeper is able to adapt and use all of these in any situation he's put in. Just keep all these in mind. Take a note if you can, or a mental note, and just keep relating back to these when we're having our little conversations when we've watched the clips.
Excellent. And I think Eric sent the slides to everybody. I'm hoping he did, because he asked me for the presentation. But don't worry, guys, if you haven't got it at the moment, you will get it. Okay, so you will get this full presentation. You'll have a lot more time to digest this and go through it. Okay, Sam, pop us on the next slide, mate. Okay, so again, guys, not going to dwell on this. Our focus has been for the 2 weeks previous, and this one, click it on, Sam. So obviously we've got all of the technical abilities that a goalkeeper needs, but our full focus for these initial webinars is going to be around the technical ability of the goalkeeper, and obviously around distribution. So we're going to focus on one goalkeeper this evening. I've tried to make it a little bit easier for us, not because of you guys or the level that I think you can understand, but I think it's probably better if we just focus on one goalkeeper, because then we get an idea of their traits, of their profile, of the way they work, the way they may think, the way they look, the way they act. So the footage we're going to observe tonight is going to be around one goalkeeper, and that's ter Stegen from Barcelona and obviously Germany. So he's a full international. And he's represented his country, I think 24 times up to now. Obviously, ter Stegen is very much in competition with probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world in terms of Germany, Manuel Neuer. So that's why when you look at his cap accumulation, it's probably quite low for his age. But he's in this generation where he's competing with Manuel Neuer. So it's been quite tough for ter Stegen to get a good number of international caps. If it weren't for Neuer, he probably would be pushing, 70, 80 caps right now. So, the fact that he only has that number of caps isn't because he's not good enough. It's because he's competing with probably one of the top 3 or 4 goalkeepers in the world at the moment. So ter Stegen is going to be our focus this evening. So I'm not sure, guys. Sam, can you see that all of our keepers there on your screen? Because I can only see us 4.
Yeah, I can see 4 as well, but I can scroll down.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure, guys, how much knowledge and understanding or awareness you have of ter Stegen, but obviously I chose him because he's playing for one of the biggest football clubs in the world, in Barcelona. Very high profile. I'm hoping that some of you may have seen him play. If not live, you may have seen him on TV. So you'll have some kind of awareness. But just to help you guys, I've put some simple stats together for you. So if you drop it on, Sam. So here's our case study. ter Stegen is 28. Put some details around his individuality, his profile, his height and his weight there, and his cap accumulation. He's been a pro since 2009-10. Started off in the Bundesliga in Germany, and he had 5 seasons with a team there called Borussia Mönchengladbach. And obviously they at Barcelona recognised his potential, and they signed him in 2014. So obviously they knew he was going to be a long-term project. So if you look at his first couple of years, he didn't play a lot of games, but obviously from 2016 onwards, he's then been predominantly their starting goalkeeper. So I've just put some simple stats on there. Clean sheets that he's had, the amount of saves he's had in games, and the goals that he's conceded throughout those seasons with his respective clubs. But more importantly, the next slide, Sam, I wanted you to just have a look at some stats in terms of his time at Barcelona, and more importantly, when he's in possession of the ball. So couldn't get the stats for 2014-15 for some reason. I think because he only played Champions League and Spanish Cup games, the information around that season's stats in terms of passes made and pass percentage wasn't available. But I've managed to get it for the other 5 seasons. So what I want you to look at, guys, is obviously the amount of games he accumulated and played, the number of passes he made. Obviously, 3 of those seasons over 1,000. So when you think about that, you might not think that's a lot, but it is a hell of a lot in terms of, when you spread it out over games, okay, in terms of percentages. But more impressively, I think when you look at his pass number in each season, and then you look at his pass percentage in terms of that's the success rate in terms of his passes, and that can be short, medium or long range passes. So it'd be really interesting to get a depth of detail on which passes actually made up those percentages. But to be fair to him, he's in the 80s every season. So his pass percentage rate in actual positive pass percentage rate is very high. So, from that point of view, it tells us that he's good in possession, he's got good range, and he's a good passer of the ball, but also he's comfortable with the ball, and the team recognise that he is a major asset when they're in possession of the ball. So in essence, he makes up and becomes the 11th player. Okay, so just thought I'd share that with you. Hopefully, that just give you an idea of the quality of the goalkeeper that we're going to be looking at. And now we can move on to what the main part of this evening is going to be about. And that's really about you guys having a look at some clips, recognising and analysing that in this first set of clips, they're all negative outcomes. So basically, when the goalkeeper has possession of the ball, he chooses an option in terms of the action, the pass, but it ends up being a negative outcome. In other words, he either doesn't get the ball to a teammate, or the team end up losing the ball and turning over possession. What I really want you to think about, guys, is our 5 elements of development. So not just focusing on the technical side of what happens, but tactically, physically, psychologically, and socially, what are the effects, or what are the areas, what are the dominant areas of those 5 elements of development have had the greatest influence or effect upon those negative outcomes? Okay? So if you go forward, Sam, I just want to remind everybody of, again, we know the technical slide because we're working on distribution. But now I want you to think about the tactical outcomes, so the tactical awareness involved, okay? And some of the things on there that the goalkeeper needs to recognise and know and understand when they're faced with these situations, these scenarios. Go ahead, Sam. What's the physical effect on the goalkeeper? So does it involve mobility? Does it involve strength, and so on and so forth? What are the main areas that affect the goalkeeper in these situations? Okay, physically. Go ahead. There's our psychological slide in terms of the psychological balance. So again, we've spoken as a group of coaches. We've got a good idea of sort of the main areas where we feel the goalkeeper is affected in these situations. And it's going to be real interesting when you drop into your breakout rooms after watching the footage, what you guys think are the main areas that affect the goalkeeper from these slides. And finally, socially, Sam. Okay? So again, think about socially, how the goalkeeper is within the group. What does he need to be doing? What does he need to be thinking? What does he need to be acting during those situations? And from our globes here, from the social side, what are the main areas that affect the goalkeeper in the situations and scenarios that you're going to observe? Okay? So I think, do we move on to the footage now, Sam?
Yep.
Brilliant. So just before you play the footage, Sam.
Yep.
Everyone, I'm mindful that on some of your media, these may come across quite slow and at times quite patchy. So you may not see a full flow of the action, but I just want you to recognise where the goalkeeper's starting with the ball, what the initial setup of the team is when he's got the ball, where he ends up playing the ball or not playing the ball, and then again from our 5 elements of development, what are the main areas that are affecting the goalkeeper in this moment, and remembering that they're all negative outcomes. Okay? So if we watch the footage first, Sam, we're going to watch it a couple of times,
yep,
and then we'll go to the breakout room. So pay attention, guys. Make notes if you want to. Go ahead, Sam. Okay, so he's gone long on that occasion over the halfway line. Ball's run out of play. Okay, so he's dwelt on the ball. He's got pressured. He's tried to go long again, and the opposition win the ball. It's time a goal kick, so it's a restart. Plays short and actually gets the ball stolen off him inside the 18-yard box. On this occasion, he dwells on the ball again, looks to play forward long, ball gets intercepted. And again, a longer pass, doesn't find a teammate. Is that the full lot, Sam?
Yeah, we go again.
Yeah, go again. So again, apologies, guys, if it's patchy. We've tried, we've looked, but we can't find a way to get it flowing any quicker and smoother. So again, what you might look at is how the opposition are setting up in each situation, when they apply pressure, what are his teammates doing to help him, what is he looking for. Okay, this is the one again where he gets caught out. Okay. The other thing you might want to think about, guys, just a little bit of a clue. Does he have better options or other options on other than the one that he's chosen? And ultimately, what's made him choose that pass? Yeah. What's created that decision or that action? Okay. Right, Sam. Do you want to sort the rooms out? So
Yeah,
you'll have a group. Josh has a group. Mark has a group.
Yeah.
Guys, you're going to go into your rooms. Wait for the coaches to join you. There's going to be a 10-minute sort of allowance for you to go and do your breakout rooms. Is everybody okay with where we are at the moment? Does anybody need answers around anything? The footage wasn't great. I understand it didn't flow smoothly, but I'm hoping I gave you a little bit of a commentary as well. Is everybody okay now to go in the breakout rooms?
Yep.
Brilliant, brilliant. If you've got your slides and you can use them while you're in the breakout room, fantastic, guys, because that will help you massively, okay? If you want to make notes, go ahead. Sam,
yep.
It will take, 30 seconds or so to split them off. I'll wait here and I'll expect you all back in 10 minutes.
Sam,
Yes,
I'm going to take Samantha G with me. She's a goalkeeping icon coach, so I'll take Sam with me.
Sure, do you want me to put her with Josh or you?
I'll take it because I'm selfish.
Okay, fine.
Just bear with us, guys. It takes a little bit of time to get the room sorted. So, and then once you're in your room, away you go. I want to get great feedback from the coaches about you guys being interactive and joining in.
Right, then let's try this. Exchange.
So I think once you've done it, Sam, they should disappear off the screen, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they should do.
Yeah.
Move, break up one.
Okay. Just while we're waiting, guys, a good idea might be for you to start making a few notes if you want to. Okay. So if you have got no making material, it might be an idea to start thinking about some thought processes and maybe making 1 or 2 notes.
Worst case scenario, Sam, we just tell Tony to leave for 10 minutes.
No, we're all good. I think we're all good. Let's do.
Ash, I can see you writing vigorously there, mate. Brilliant. Yeah. Are you writing there?
It's an empty pad of paper.
Ah, look at that.
Look at that, look. That's awesome.
Are they laminated, Ash?
No, as soon as we're done with all the slides that Eric sends, I'm going to be making a binder full of it so I can go over them.
That's
fantastic.
it.
Good
Awesome.
idea.
Maybe.
Well, that might be a little bit of something maybe, you can help some of the others with. So a little bit of a shared process there, guys, might help.
Okay, guys, I think I'm done. Right, let's do it.
Right. Go, Sam.
Try that.
Oh, I'm in breakout room 2.
I'm going to go to number 3.
Sam, I might just drop in because
Okay, guys, how are we doing? If you turn all your microphones on, be awesome. Don't be shy. Awesome.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, guys, what we thinking?
so you're not getting away with it that easy.
We'll go, Owen. Owen, what do you think, buddy? Talk to me.
Well, I wasn't really here for half of it.
Did you see the clips?
I saw the clips. I just joined late. So
Okay, that's okay.
I saw
what about you?
Yeah.
I know you there.
Who's gonna share something with us? Don't be afraid. There's no wrong answers. Remember, guys, I've said to you, there's never a stupid question or a silly answer. So go ahead. Has anybody got the slides printed off? Or the slides in front of them?
I have them on my phone.
So in the clips, okay, when you think about the goalkeeper and what's influencing what happens, is it just a poor pass, would you suggest?
But yeah, good point. I like that. Anyone else got any thought?
Well, they might have been pressuring possession of the ball, and the defense could be having trouble with the other team's offense. So the only option he had was to play that, or possibly get scored on from counter possession.
Excellent. Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily the goalkeeper's fault. He just had limited options, right? Because the opposition were pressing high, and that's the only kind of option he went. I actually noticed, I don't know if anyone else saw it, the first time he went long, the forward, whoever it was, actually, put his hand up and acknowledged the pass as if to say you probably did the right thing. So good stuff. Anyone else?
I just feel like during that certain time that his teammates could have not stood there per se, they could have moved around different positions, confuse the other team to make more pass options so we can pass through up the field and not lose it every time.
Yeah.
Or he could have had confidence with his team, if the back was open, but he was timid to go there and just play along to get out. That he should play and let his teammates figure it out and trust them more.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Instead of hitting it up every single time and losing it.
Did anyone keep an eye on the clock?
Yeah, 28 seconds, I think it was.
Seconds. Yeah. So how many times do you reckon in that time period they try doing the same thing?
A lot.
A lot, yeah? So,
I think they should have taken it in to realize, at halftime, saying, hey, we're taking it too long and we're losing every single time. We should try a new tactic or a new strategy and switch it up a little bit.
Actually, you're one step ahead of everyone else. That's exactly what we're going to think about in the next slides, all right? Because the next slides are going to be the positive outcomes, okay? So that's the answer we want to get in the second break room, okay?
Too good, Ashley.
That's perfect. You're awesome. This is exactly what we want to see, okay? And here, okay? That's fantastic, okay? So that's awesome, guys. Okay. Anyone else got anything they want to add? I'm taking notes at the moment, and then we will relay back to the group what we've discussed. So, anyone else want to fire anything out, nice and quick? Up to you.
I think the main thing that we spoke about, which was great, was a debate. Was it the goalkeeper forcing it and being predictable, or was it because they were pressing high and the players weren't moving? And I think that sometimes causes conflict between outfield players and goalkeepers.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember Do you guys remember the clip we showed last week of it was the same game? I think it was around 5 minutes in, where Stegen was looking for those triggers from the midfield players. Mm-hmm. Do you think in the first couple of seconds he was actually looking for those triggers?
No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So. Are those triggers is he looking for them and they're not happening, do you reckon? So he's on the ball, he's waiting, and then all of a sudden the attacker's on him. So then he's got to start rushing. So maybe the midfielders aren't on the same wavelength. So in practice and training, they might be waiting for those little triggers. So he knows, if the midfielder comes towards me, that means I can go long. If the midfielder goes away, it frees up the defence a little bit, yeah? So, yeah. Awesome. Anyone got anything else?
It was just in part of the video we just saw, it looked like he was going to the same side every single time. Whenever he could have switched the field and used the other side more. Yeah. Because it looked like the other guy was just standing there hey, I'm in board land. I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
He needs to switch it up and give other players opportunities, and that could change a whole difference in the game.
Yeah, awesome. Do you remember the last slide we were on last week, where it split the pitch into sections? Can you remember what they were?
Yeah, it was. One was playing forward. I remember that.
Yep.
It was playing out to. I think is one.
Yeah.
Playing into.
Yep. Keep going. Yeah, look back through. Perfect. If you got on there, look
Play
Oh,
through,
no.
play around, and support.
perfect. Yeah. So how many times in that little clip did he do all those? Or try to do all of those?
He only tried to do one, basically.
Yeah.
One or two. If I'm gonna give him one or two.
Yeah. Okay. So keep that in mind for the second lot of the clips we're going to see. Okay, and try and see the differences in the two sort of clips. Okay. But guys, that's spot on. Okay, so exactly what we want to see. We want to see interaction, printing off the slides, you having your own notes on the slides, because this is what it's all about. Yeah, we give you the tools, and then you can stick them up on your wall if you need to, do mind maps, do whatever you need to do. And this is where it's going to start. Because when you go into training next time, and Eric or whoever's your coach says, "Oh, we're going to work on playing through, playing onto, support," you're going to be like, "Boom! I know exactly what I'm doing." Yeah, this is what we're going to look at. Okay, so I'm going to now dip in and out. I'm going to go to another group, see how they're getting on. You guys talk among yourselves again. Josh, if you want to take a little bit of notes, maybe write down who said what, and then we will we'll jump back in. All right. Quality stuff, guys. Well done.
Have you got unlimited time on this one?
I have.
How'd you do that?
Bought it.
Oh.
Right, guys, carry on.
Gating process, as they called it.
Oh, geez, what's the bearded playboy doing? What's going on?
So I'm dipping in and out, let's see how you're getting on.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah.
No, so Rowan, raise your points.
So my point was just there wasn't enough communication, because whenever like his defenders weren't spread out enough, and if he played the ball, he always played it into danger.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the long ball in the first clip, how it just went out of bounds. I think that could have been a different pass, or like more short than how long it was. But I don't know, honestly, how the conditions were, if it was windy or maybe the ball went farther than what he was expecting. But those were my points.
Awesome.
LP? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. What did you say?
I said I thought he was confused, and like if it went far, like they just were communicating too much. And I don't think it was more of his. Well, but I thought it was more of the team's fault too, because they didn't seem like they were communicating.
Sweet.
Riggsy?
I said that his like thought process was like too slow, and he didn't know what to do with the ball when he got it.
And what if you're thinking slow or stuff like that, what happens? What does that allow the other team to do as well, though?
What?
If I hold on to the ball for too long, what does that do? What are you? If you're a striker, and I'm a goalie, and I hold on to the ball for a long time, what are you gonna do?
Try to take it from you.
But so you're gonna shut me down there, right?
Yeah.
So options become limited. What do we say about that central midfielder? Do you remember? Central midfielder got played the ball. Do you reckon he wanted it? No. They've all gone silent, Sam.
Yeah, mate, I had that problem in the other group as well.
Oh yeah, well, there we go.
That's all right. Right, I'm going to check in with Tony, and then we'll meet back up in a second.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about the players further up the field? Is there going to be eye contact then?
No.
No, because you're a long distance away. You know, sometimes they're 40, 50, 60 yards away. So how do they then communicate? Think about what you said, Mark.
Non-verbal.
Yeah, non-verbal. So a lot of signals, a lot of arm gestures, a lot of body movements. Also, it might not necessarily be a directive in terms of points. It could literally be by making a run, into a certain space or a certain area of the field, and that could then dictate the goalkeeper's decision. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, guys, and when we think about the 5 elements of development, can you see now, just in that simple set of clips, how it's not just one element that actually affects the outcome. Yeah. So you.
And how many of those points were involved? We've pretty much touched on all of them now, right?
Yes.
Very few were involved.
So, good or bad, we've spoken about almost all of them. So,
That's exactly what I was just going to say, guys. Try and think about that five-step model that Tony's on about: technical, tactical, physiological, social. Okay, how many are there in that short space of time? Okay, they'll probably be more than you think. Okay, so just when you're talking about it, add in the social aspect. Yeah. Same with you, Ashley, as well. You're saying going in at half time. What's the keeper going to be saying to the outfield players?
So like like I know what you mean. Like we're switching up a little bit different things. You guys got to move around. We're trying different distribution wise, so we don't lose the ball and turn it over every time we get screwed on that.
That's it. Perfect.
We also spoke about Sam, if you want to write it down,
yeah.
because of how little time had gone in the game.
Yeah.
Like I said, our girls, we don't ever put much emphasis on the keepers in the first 5 to 10 minutes playing out from the back.
Mm-hmm.
We, especially against a rival or if we're away from home in the conference, we normally put some on them just to test them. We get out a little bit. We wait for the game to settle down. So we kind of said that could be a reason why he was going long.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashley's had some great points. She's going to run the whole thing. Tony's.
She's going to come on our side next week. That's why.
Yeah, Tony's got the boot. Ashley's coming in. Apparently.
That's it. She's on it.
Just a rumor, but that's what I've heard.
That's it. She'll have her GPR on top on next week. That's fine.
The last thing I could add in with the technical perspective is the 1v1. Like during that one clip, whenever the goalie was 1v1 with that player and the player got the ball sadly from him and he had to make a quick decision. Like I think the goalie should work on with each other 1v1 perspectives, like one coming at them whenever the one has the ball, see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what you're going to see in the next set of clips. This is exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see hopefully the contrast of the two, and these are the points that you can now pick up on and literally side by side, whatever happened in the first set of clips, did it get put right in the second? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just keep referring back to the five globes, technical, tactical, all that sort of stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll see how we're getting on, and then I'll put you all back into the main one. Okay.
Sounds good.
She's doing all kinds of stuff and you know, sourcing this and sourcing that, and she's a big Ariana Grande fan, so I'm forever battered with Ariana Grande stuff. You know, buy me this, get me that, and it's crazy. But I don't mind her music, by the way. But what I'd like you to do, possibly between now and the next time we come together, maybe do a little bit more research on Stegen, maybe his profile, maybe his style of play, maybe you know why Barcelona prefer him so.
So, you know, I think that's another thing to kind of talk about, you know, setup and everything.
How are we doing, guys? Good?
Good.
Sweet. Everyone talking?
Yeah, we're talking.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
I think Tony's got him chatting on the other one as well, which is good.
Tony has?
Yeah.
We need to get Tony in here then.
Yeah, I'll ping him over to you, shall I?
Yeah, let's get Tony in.
Okay. I think, by the way, I think Ashley's smashing it in the other group, and she's going to be on the coach's side next week, apparently. So
Standard. Ash loves it.
I think we're all getting the boot, I think, but she's one step ahead of everyone.
Is she? Yeah, she's switched on.
She's on it. Right. Let's try and get Tony in with you guys quickly, and then I'll go from there.
Guys.
Before we go back into the room, then you can do that. How long have we got left, Sam?
Just a couple of minutes, Tony. I'm gonna add you into Mark and Sam's group quickly.
Yeah, so you're going to stay in this one, mate.
I'm going to stay in this one. You're going to...
Yeah. I'll leave the room then. Okay, brilliant.
I'll ping you over if that's all right.
Okay.
If I move you... Right, Tony's in there. Hi guys, how are you getting on? Tony's talking about Ariana Grande then. Did I come in the wrong time? Gone quiet again? How do you feel that? Are you all confident though now, yeah? You don't have to talk back, it's fine. But nod, thumbs up. You all good? Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. Let the other groups sort of pull everything together. And then I'll close all the rooms and then we can all join back in. And then yeah, relay our information back to the whole group, okay? Sweet.
And you've sent it to a lot of people, I'm less likely to spend a lot of time. So if you can say, hey, I've looked over your schedule, it was great that you beat that team 9-0 on this day. If you show that you've done some research on us, if you put my name and you said, I saw that you played college here, you know, I'm going to see that you're really interested because you've taken the time to research us.
Okay.
And you stood out, and just be yourself. We're not looking for like a really polite, really robotic letter. It can be pretty casual. And footage. I'm gonna click on a YouTube video straight away and watch you as soon as you email me if you send me your footage.
Okay.
I spend a couple hours every day watching film, and that's probably the best way if you can put your YouTube link straight in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's probably my best advice for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime.
Find a solution to the problem, and he can't do it quick enough, and that's why he gets the ball stolen from him, because he's looking for that eye contact and he just didn't get it. So, but make sure you mention that, Ron, when we go into the group. Yeah, is that okay?
Okay.
Brilliant. Are we done, Sam?
We all good, guys? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Nothing else, guys. Everyone wants to say? No more points.
We can do it in the room. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Rowan, disappointed.
Right, I'm going to close all rooms now. You guys don't need to do anything. All right, and then we'll go from there.
Rowan, disappointed.
So you got about. Well, can I do it now?
Samuel, absolutely brilliant, mate.
No worries, dude.
No, so listen, everybody. That's one over on Eric, because you remember last time when we went to the breakout rooms, it got a bit messy. So we can all play Eric up about that one. Sam's done it first time, bang, bang, in the room, sorted, back out the room. We're all back together. So brilliant, brilliant. So, Sam,
yeah, mate.
Can you go back onto the presentation, please, mate?
I can.
I'll lose all of you on the screen, guys, but I'll get to see the slides. Cool. Okay. So, Sam, just go back to the elements of development for me.
I can. 2 seconds. It's being slow for a minute.
Yeah. Just go back to the. Don't put the distribution one on. Just go back to the. So tactical. Yeah. Fine. Start on tactical. Yeah. You've gone past me. That's it. Good. So again, guys, just a quick reminder. So again, tactical awareness. Was that an influence on the goalkeeper's outcomes in those situations? Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, so I was dipping in and out of most of the groups and stuff.
Yeah.
I've taken down a few notes. Ericsson had a few good points if he wants to elaborate on his.
Yeah, so what I was going to do, You just quickly go through all the slides and then we'll come into the discussion if that's all right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Jump to the next slide.
Yeah.
Tactical awareness, physical capability. So was the movement required and what type of movement? Psychological balance.
Mm-hmm.
So what elements or what aspects of this element were most important or affected the goalkeeper in those negative outcomes? And then the last one is social. Okay. And we've got the social connection, emotional connection with the group. Again, which are the main areas from this slide that will affect the goalkeeper? Drop out the presentation again, Sam, so I can see all the group. Brilliant. Okay, so let's fire away. Does anybody want to share anything with us that they think is of benefit to the group and some observations that they've taken from negative outcome clips? Go ahead, anyone.
Go on, Ashley.
Go on, Ashley. You know you want to.
Yeah. Don't play a call, Ashley. Come on.
Who was the one you mentioned, Sam?
Ashley, smashing it.
Ashley was killing it.
Okay, I'll go first. So the main thing I saw in the video was that the goalkeeper went to the same side. Well, on the video that we watched, the negative perspective, that the goalkeeper went to the same side every single time and didn't change up the field. Like, he was always using that one side and never switched.
Tony's paused in time.
That's it. I don't know what he's done.
He's so amazed by Ashley's knowledge.
That's it.
That he's not moved a muscle.
You stunned him.
Stunned him.
He's just look at him. He's just shocked.
See what happened.
He's been Ashley.
He still can't believe it.
Look, he's pondering how to respond back to what Ashley just said. Like, this is amazing. I've never seen Tony lost for words.
You there, Tony? He's coming back in now. He's lost him. He's back in now.
Oh, look out. He might be back now, guys.
Hello.
There you are, bud.
Yeah, lost me completely there.
We thought you'd been amazed by so much by Ashley that you're frozen in time.
No, it just went completely. Apologies. Who was talking there? Was it Ash?
Of course it was.
That was me.
Right, Ash, go ahead, mate. Sorry. As soon as you started talking, it went off. So I lost everything.
No problem.
Yep.
So one negative thing that I saw in the video was that the goalkeeper kicked to the same exact side every single time. He always played beyond or played onto. Right.
So why may that have been then?
Like, maybe because as our group said, within the first 28 seconds that he was a little scared starting out with the game and wasn't that confident, that he started just playing it up like kickball and wanted to get rid of the ball so nothing bad would happen and make himself look bad.
Right. Could that have been a strategy that they had worked on or they'd spoken about?
It could have been.
Before the game?
Yeah.
Before the game. So you think that could have been a pre-planned situation?
Yes, it could have. Because with our coach, sometimes he says, if it's like in a tournament, like in the finals, he's like, let's take it down a notch. Let's settle down the first game. And then when the game increases in time and we all get comfortable and know our teammates, then we can increase our level of play.
Of course. Now, the other thing that might have created that situation, do you think that Barcelona may have looked at the opposition in previous games and recognised that they had a weakness in that area of the field?
Yes. A lot of teams do look at other game films from their opposite team that they will play to get some feedback and saying what we could do to bedazzle them with their game.
Yeah.
And they can know their game before they come into it.
Yeah. So do you think that is, when you look at the elements of development, is that a tactical thing?
Yes, it can be a tactical thing.
Yeah, so it'll be basically a tactical situation that the team may have looked to isolate one of the opposition players to get the ball into that area of the field early on in the game just to see if it is a weakness. but also in that, on the tactical side, it's around the goalkeeper's management of the game now, because he may have been told to set the tempo of the play in that fashion, and that's why he was trying to force the ball into that area. Yeah. Could it have only been that situation, guys, thinking about it? Or could something else have affected him in that situation and be the reason why he's tried to play into that area?
Well, in the video we saw in the first time that his one player on the side put his hand up acknowledging that he's open so he can pass him the ball forward, thinking he can do something with it to press forward.
Yeah, awesome. What else? How early was that in the game?
Pretty early.
Anybody else? Yeah, it's pretty early. So the other thing for me, guys, what I really needed you to do in those clips is look at the clock. And that's why I leave, or I put clips together like that, is I leave the clock, the time of the game in the corner for you to see. Now, if you look at those clips, I think they're all in the first 20 minutes of the game, more or less. So had the goalkeeper, in particular the first 5 or 6 minutes, had he had much chance to get his range correct? Or do you think he was just testing his range and testing, you know, the flight of the ball, like you said, Ash, the conditions? Do you think that could have played a part?
I think he was testing everything out because it was the beginning of the game, so he wanted to see if the other team would continue with how they acted in previous games.
Brilliant. Good lad. So, yeah. And again, don't forget, as well as that, the goalkeeper's had the warm-up to maybe practice some of his kicking, but then he's gone back into the dressing room, yeah, got cold probably a little bit, come back out into the stadium. It's at night because of the weather. You know, what turned out to be negative outcome. So anything else on that, guys, that you want to talk about? Any other sort of the slides of the elements of development that you want to sort of share with us that you come up with?
I think Ericsson made another good point in the other breakout rooms about the opposition.
Yeah, go on.
Ericsson, do you want to elaborate on that, mate, what you said?
Oh, yeah. So the opposition could have been pressing really high, and the defenders could have been having a difficult time with the ball. So instead of trying to risk a goal, he could just play that out.
Yeah, brilliant. So what you recognised from the footage, Ericsson and everybody, was that Real Sociedad, the team they were playing against, went with the strategy that we're going to press really high, yeah, especially the two front players. So possibly what could have happened, I don't know, because I obviously I'm not at Barcelona, but they may have watched footage of Real Sociedad from previous games where they may not have pressed so high. And I think one of the rooms I went into, if you remember, guys, I know, Hannah, you were in that room, Maxine, Ali, who else was in there? Molly. We talked about the fact that, Sophia, yeah, you were in there. We talked about the fact, guys, that maybe the footage they've watched previously, the opposition didn't press, or Real Sociedad didn't press the other teams as high. They may have dropped off. But then suddenly in this game, they've gone with the strategy right from the very first minute, they're going to press really high. And if you notice from some of the footage, the Real Sociedad back line was more or less at the halfway line, sometimes over it into Barcelona's half. So they were pressing with a real high press. And that may have surprised Barcelona because they may have watched footage previously that doesn't relate to the way Real Sociedad would normally for Ter Stegen in those early minutes of the game. Yeah, does that make sense? We mentioned it, didn't we? So in those situations, what will the goalkeeper and the team have to have done quite quickly? What do they need to do quickly?
Communicate and like
communicate. Fantastic. Yeah. So did we discuss how they might communicate?
Yeah, within like close range, it could be eye contact and like the way they open up their hips or like call for the ball with like their like body language, and also from like long distance, how they step to the ball to call for it, because like and it could be like extremely loud in the stadium, and so they might be able to hear each other if they're talking.
Yeah, so close, real close distance, a lot of the communication and that connection between teammates, you know, with Ter Stegen and his defenders can be verbal. But once they start to sort of move higher up the field, because of the sheer noise in the stadium, 100,000 people probably, very difficult to communicate verbally. So we talked about body shape, about body signals, and even sometimes, you know, teammates just moving into areas of the field where Ter Stegen might be able to deliver the ball into, you know. So important in terms of the connection, how teammates actually communicate with each other when they're close together, when they're not so close together. And that's massively important. Maybe, I think in the early parts of the game, guys, they kind of weren't probably on each other's wavelength. What did we also talk about when you watch some of that footage? Where did some of the defenders go sometimes when he had the ball at his feet? Were they in front of him?
Some of the defenders went behind him, so you couldn't see where they were.
Awesome. That was you, Ali, yeah? And
yeah.
What did we say about the goalkeeper? Where's the goalkeeper looking? What did they see?
In front of them.
Yeah. So we talked about that 180 world, didn't we? Yeah. So there's a goalkeeper, everything is in front of you. So you basically work in a 180-degree world more times than not. So if you notice in a couple of the clips, guys, the defenders dropped behind him, didn't they? Last thing you'd want your goalkeeper doing if the opposition are in front of him and they're going to press him quite high, is you don't want your goalkeeper turning around to look at where a teammate is to try and pass the ball to them. Because there's every opportunity for the opposition to press in then and steal the ball. And I think in one of the clips you actually saw Ter Stegen lose the ball in the 18-yard box from a restart. You know, how crazy is that? So sometimes the positioning of teammates is massively important and can have a really detrimental effect on the goalkeeper should they take up the wrong positions in terms of their depth and angle. Yeah, because there's no way in which the goalkeeper can communicate with them. Great stuff, Ali. Well done with that, and well done, Mo. Yeah, love that. Okay. Anything else, guys? What about the psych side? Let's think about the psychological slide. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I think LP had a good comment in Mark's group.
Who was that?
LP, you're up.
Yeah, go on in. What you got?
Go on.
Come on, LP.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said that the goalie looked confused and the team wasn't communicating too well. And now that I realize that there's like thousands of people in the stands, I kind of understand why. But
yeah.
The goalie seemed like he was a bit too slow, and yeah.
So he wasn't thinking quick enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wasn't assessing the pictures in front of him and giving that information, you know, obviously into his brain and then into his body to make those important decisions on what to do next. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. That's cool. So I think, guys, what LP's saying there is probably he's not being proactive enough. So he's not recognising what's happening quick enough. So like we alluded to, Molly, didn't we, about the goalkeeper learning and assessing quickly. In those situations, guys, as a goalkeeper, you've got to be aware of what's happening in front of you so fast. And we call that perception. So you have internal and external perception. Internal is about you and about your bodily movements and your bodily actions and your thought processes. External perception is awareness of your environment and other things outside of you. So in a game of soccer, your perception externally is what's happening with my team, where are my teammates, where are the opposition, what's their strategy, how are they setting up, how are they organising, is it different to what I know, do I have to adapt? perception, guys, is huge in these situations, and how quickly you can recognise what you need to do and how you can problem solve is massively important to you. Yeah. Okay. So the psychological side of those situations, there was a lot of stuff going on there. Coaches, on the psych side, anything else from you that you'd like to sort of touch on there, just for the keepers?
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about the psych side of the emotions in the game, and if we're playing against a local rival or we've got a tough conference game coming up, we know if we win, we're going to be there or thereabouts. That first 5-10 minute period is so tense.
Yeah.
We'll often not put as much emphasis on playing out from the back in those early periods because it's just so nervous. So we'll just put it in those areas to begin with and calm down a little bit. We touched on that, and then Ashley had some good points off of that, but that was our kind of psych.
Okay. So what you're saying, Josh, you wouldn't want to risk that first 20 minutes by trying to play out and allowing the opposition to press you?
Yeah, I think we use the word settle the game down. We just
brilliant. Yeah,
that's kind of how we put it. We looked at the clock and kind of came to the conclusion that it was just a less risk pass and just give it a go.
Yeah. So you wouldn't try and kind of force that playing out from the back. You kind of just play more of a percentage game and go slightly longer, play into, on to, beyond, and so on. Yeah? And rather have the ball further up the pitch than risk losing the ball closer to your goal. I think the absolute flip side of that, when you look at the footage we've watched, clearly Barcelona were more than prepared to have the ball at close quarters, to continue to try and play out for the back. Ter Stegen continued to sort of move the ball towards the edge of the box, allow the opposition to press. And I think for me that what it showed there was like that absolute resilience to stick to the task, to not fear making mistakes, because he did make mistakes. Sometimes the passes weren't good. He got caught in possession. But what it didn't do was stop him from sticking to task and doing, what he was expected to do by the head coach. And I think that's hugely important, because that shows a lot of trust in him by the coach, by the other players, but also trust from him in the strategy, in the philosophy, in the way that the team plays. He doesn't want to just go and do what he wants to do. He's been asked to play in a certain way, and he's going to try and do that to the best of his ability. Sometimes it goes wrong. More times than not, he'll get it right. And that's the key, is having that resilience and that bravery and that mental toughness to stick to task and believe in what you're being asked to do and what you're being told to do. Does that make sense, everyone?
I think Ashley used the word confidence a couple of times just to
confidence.
describe.
Go on in, Ash. Last bit on this.
Well, I was saying from the game video perspective, when if he had players open on from the side, that he needs to be more confident with his own teammate and not just nailing it up the field every time, like play out of the back, give them an opportunity and switch the field, not just go to one single field every time, like how you're saying with trust within the coach and they have a certain strategy. What happens if he does play that strategy to the best of his ability, but it doesn't work anymore because the same thing happens over and over again? What would you do then if that strategy doesn't work? Just keep using the same strategy or do another one and disobey the coach?
Yeah, well, I think then there would be an understanding that, and I think, we talk about plan B, plan C. And I think when you're working in environments with, goalkeepers of that quality, there will definitely be a trust from the coaching staff and from teammates that if there is an issue, if there is a problem, that the goalkeeper will try to solve that problem and find the solution. Now, that may be, on occasion, he has to move away from plan A. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I don't think in any moment the coaching staff would then berate the goalkeeper for trying to make sure they retain possession or make a slightly different decision that doesn't quite stick to plan A. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I think when you look at the amount of times that Ter Stegen went with the ball towards the middle of the field, drew the opposition, he's been asked to do that. But I also think in that early period of the game, I don't think his teammates helped him enough, if that makes sense. So I think there was an air of nervousness, there was an air of unsuredness, and I'm convinced that they weren't expecting the opposition to play the way they did and press the way they did. Yeah. And I think that's what's caused the confusion. And it took them time to get used to that, to find the solutions. And when we show you the next set of clips, you'll understand the change that occurred. So, guys, coaches, I'm just mindful that we've been on for quite a while now. We're over an hour and 15 minutes. What I'm going to suggest, because for me, look, we've had some fantastic conversation there. And I think what we've drawn from guys, and I think you guys have come up with the answers. This hasn't just been about us. Okay, we might have dangled the carrot and led you sort of down to certain elements, but you guys have come up with the answers. You guys know this stuff. You're aware of this stuff. But I'd love for you to sort of be more open and more free with sharing what you do know. When I dropped into the rooms, I was talking to you guys, okay, a little bit of guided discovery to start with. But once you opened up, I couldn't stop you. So when we have our webinars, when we have our meetings, don't ever be afraid to share what you're thinking, what you're seeing, what you're believing. Because you guys know this stuff. You're intelligent. You're intelligent goalkeepers. And you're learning goalkeepers. And the more questions you ask, the more knowledge you're going to gain, the more information you're going to take away from these webinars with you. And that's what they're for. Okay? Sam, I think what we'll do is we'll just drop quickly onto the next few slides.
Yep.
Quickly brief through what I termed the before, the during, the after. We'll watch the last set of clips and then we'll finish for the evening, if that's okay with everyone. Yeah? So if you jump ahead. Okay. So if you go, So, guys, what I want you to think about, when I work with my goalkeepers, I ask them to think about a lot of different things. But in particular, I try to chunk things into threes. So in any given situation, I like my goalkeepers to think about the before, the during, and the after. Okay? And this can relate to what we're watching and witnessing this evening. So when you looked at the footage, was ter Stegen being, when we look at these terms I've used here, was he being proactive enough? Was he ready and prepared for what was going to happen, or what decision-making processes he was going to have to go through? So for me, was he scanning the field enough? Was he recognising the ever-changing picture that changes every second? Perhaps he wasn't picking up those images quick enough to digest them and then ultimately come out and make the right decision in terms of the action that he created with the distribution. So again, was he proactive enough? Did he check and scan away from the ball enough, or was he just fixed and focused on the ball? Was he fully aware of where all his options were all the time? Okay? And by doing these two things, guys, for me, the goalkeeper is then more able to have a clearer idea of what they're going to do when they're next in contact with the ball. So all I'm saying to you is, when you're not on the ball, can you be proactive as possible? Can you check and scan as frequently as possible away from the ball without losing focus of where the ball is? And that will help you get clearer pictures of what you need to do when you are in possession of the ball. Okay? That can also apply to out of possession. You know, when you're making a save or when you need to reposition and so on. Okay? So this isn't just about in possession. Go ahead, Sam. Then you think about the during. Okay, so that speed of thought. So again, information, can you process it from the pictures that are presented to you in the ever-changing movement of the game? Okay, speed of movement. So do you need to move prior to either receiving the ball or making a save or getting in a position to make a save? Is there a movement required to get you in a better position to create a successful outcome? And then obviously speed of action. So trusting in the decision that you've made and the consequent execution to the best of your ability. So thinking about what you need to do, a movement if it's required to get a better position to give you a successful outcome, and then what the action you're creating and having the trust in your technical capability to deliver. Okay? And the last part, Sam, I'm not going to read through all of it, it's the after. Okay? And again, there's two different situations here. The after part can be if the team is in possession or if the team is out of possession. Okay? So thinking about connection, are you ready? Organisation, are you communicating? So when the action has moved away from you, what's your role and responsibility as a goalkeeper in those situations, whether the team is in possession of the ball or out of possession of the ball? Okay? Again, I'm not going to read through all that. You can have a look through these when you've got the presentation, and you can spend time. The before, the during, the after are massively important you in any given scenario or situation. Okay, brilliant, Sam. Move on. Okay, so what we're going to do to finish, guys, remember the context behind the first set of clips. First half of the game, opposition strategy was to press high, maybe surprise the goalkeeper and his teammates. Very negative in terms of the outcomes. Seemed a bit flustered, yeah. Got themselves a little bit tied up and didn't have successful outcomes. Now just look at the second set of clips. Have a look at when it is in the game and the clock is in the corner for you, but have a look at the difference. And all I want you to think about is what could have created that change or shift in the goalkeeper and teammates, of course, in those given situations in this time period. So have a look at when this occurred. Go ahead, Sam. Okay, so he plays short, moves to the edge of the box, plays out, and they get out. Okay. Again, recognise as the opposition strategy changed? Probably not. They're still pressing high. Look at where they are. Yeah. Again, what might have happened in this situation scenario in the first half? Again, look at the clock, guys. Yeah, we're now in the second half. Again, back to the goalkeeper. Link play. Okay, back to the goalkeeper. Plays out. And they eventually get out. Okay. Again, allowing the press. Remember what happened in the first half? No problem. Plays it forward and into his teammate. Again, allowing the pressure. Nice and relaxed and composed. Plays out and they play higher up the field. Again, we're into an hour of the game now. And this is the last couple of minutes. Catches the high ball. Initiates the attack, and look at the scoreline. They're winning 1-0 in the 93rd minute. He comes and catches the ball cleanly amongst the crowd and sets the team up on their next attack. Okay? Do you want to drop out of that, Sam?
Yep.
Drop out the presentation. Okay, guys. So again, apologies for probably the slowness of the footage. But can you see the difference from what we saw with the first set of clips, that first half, compared to the second half, and how different it looked? So just to finish off, guys, to give it some context, do you think what might have changed? What could have happened to create such a difference and a shift? Anybody got any ideas?
Ashley had a good point as well. She was one step ahead of everyone.
Go on in.
So my point was that at the end of the first half, whenever the team went back in the locker room, the goalie made the suggestion saying, hey guys, the strategy that we're using isn't working. We need to switch it up, maybe play some short and then progress up the field, or play long and have a person run on to from playing forward or playing beyond and playing onto, like up that
Brilliant.
way, switching the
Brilliant.
attack of the field and everything.
Yeah. And if you notice, you know, when he tried the longer passes in the first half, where were they?
They were on the right side of the field.
Yeah, wider. What about the second half?
He switched them up. He was on the right side, left side, middle.
Yeah, kind of went more central though, didn't it, Ash?
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, do you think the half-time period then was big for this game for Barcelona?
Yeah.
Looking at that. Yeah, I think it was huge, guys. And this is the benefit. And look, it's all about resources and having the opportunity to do this. I have no doubt that at half-time, the coaching staff would have got together to discuss this. The players would have. But very definitely, they would have watched clips of this happening and understanding what was going on and the difference in the opposition strategy and setup, but also in the way that Barcelona were playing. And what you can't really see because of the way the clips were a little bit slow on the webinar is the actual tempo of the Barcelona play. It was a lot quicker. Do you think that his teammates took up better positions for him as well? Did that look different? Most definitely. So I think maybe his teammates might have got a little bit of a telling off at half time in the fact that they weren't helping him, and they seem to be a lot more proactive. Okay. Did ter Stegen show resilience, guys, to keep going, to keep doing what he needed to do? Thinking about how negative the first half was, but then how positive the second half was. So did you see how resilient he was to keep going, and he didn't stop? He kept believing in what he was doing. Massively important. So resilience in everything that you do. Never give up. Yeah. Always try and stay positive and believe in what you're doing, because eventually if you do that, you will get a positive outcome. Okay. Do you think he showed mental bravery? Yeah. You know, imagine 100,000 people. You've got two opposition players bearing down on you. Sometimes he wasn't passing the ball until they were 2 or 3 yards away from him. You know, and it takes such nerves and bravery mentally to do that. Okay. So I think what I've tried to do, guys, here with the clips, and again, you'll get the presentations, you can spend more time looking at them, is just to get you to start to think more about the effect that all of those elements have on you guys as goalkeepers in any given situation. And more to the fact, your coaches need to understand what you face every time you have to deal with a situation or scenario in a game. It's not just about your technical capability. It's not just about your physical ability as an individual. It's about your tactical awareness. It's about your psychological balance. It's about your social connection with your teammates, communication, and so on and so forth. There's so many things that affect every given situation and scenario that we face as goalkeepers. Does everybody understand that? Has anybody got any questions you want to ask before we finish off the webinar? I don't want to keep you too long. Coaches, anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think in our break rooms we had, everyone's making the point about the clip we saw last week about the little triggers that ter Stegen had. So
yes.
Maybe it was the centre midfielder moving towards him. That was his cue to go long. I know the clip was from the first half last week, but it didn't happen as much. So maybe when he was on the ball for too long and he was getting caught in possession, he was waiting for those triggers. Triggers didn't happen. Therefore, he was too slow on the ball. But in the second half, obviously things ran a little bit smoother. I'm sure there were mistakes in the second half, but again, there was more positives in the second half from the outcome.
Yeah.
And also,
there weren't many compared to the first half, Sam. Yeah, percentage-wise, I think his pass rate in the second half was up around that 85-90 mark again.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot better. But again, you know, good that you referred to that. And I think, Ash, you alluded to it. He got a lot more help from his teammates in the second half. And this is the other reason why I'm saying to you guys, that work that they do at that level, the choreography that goes on into making those actions positive, happens in training. They practice those things. Now, it's not always going to go right in the game, but this is why it's so important for you as goalkeepers to be dovetailed into sessions with your players, with your teammates, so that you can actually practice these situations and dealing with the ball under pressure, connecting with your teammates, communicating in lots of different ways like we've talked about. Hugely important, guys. Okay? So the more you can encourage your coaches to involve you in practicing with your team, the better it's going to be for you as goalkeepers. Okay? I think, guys, we'll call it an evening there. It's been quite a long one, and I do hope you found it informative. I do hope you found it helpful. You guys have been fantastic. In the breakout rooms, you were awesome. You've thrown a lot of different things at the coaches, and I enjoyed some real good conversation with you guys. You've interacted here, which was our aim, which has been really good. So well done for that. I'd like to have seen maybe one or two others interact a little bit more, but that will come the more we get into these webinars. Coaches, just to finish off, anything from you guys? Mark?
Like you said, like, this has been the longest one you guys have been part of, and it's you guys have been so interactive with this. So I mean, especially one or two more than others, but it's just so nice to kind of see you guys be engaged and kind of thinking a lot more. So well done for all you guys who have worked really hard. I mean, I know the group the group break-off room we had. Congrats to Sam for figuring that one out. That worked out really well, getting you guys in small groups and kind of isolating you a little bit and kind of giving you guys a bit more confidence to talk more. So I think part of the goalkeeping is I always say the persona, and I think you guys have to start bringing your personalities out to these sort of webinars and be confident in talking.
Yeah, I'll second that. And as I said to you guys, there's never a stupid question, but the more you can drag out of us guys, the more knowledge, information, learning you're going to be taken away with, and that's what we want. You've got some good people here: Sam, Mark, Josh. Eric when he's with us, myself. We've got deep pools of knowledge. So don't leave anything here. Take it from us, because it's going to help you become more accomplished and more developed, highly developed goalkeepers in your futures, and that's what we're doing this for. So I want to thank you all. Can I say a big thank you to Sam? Because it's his first host Zoom with the group, and I thought you did brilliantly, Sam. So little round of applause for Sam, everybody, if we can. So well done, Sam. Superb. Guys, the presentation, you'll get it. If you haven't already, please take the time to look through it. We're here to help you. It's a lot of detail, I know, but if you want to get to the top level of goalkeeping, guys, you're going to need all of this stuff. It's vitally important information and detail for you, so take the time to look through it. Been brilliant being with you. It's late in the or early hours of the morning now here in the UK. I'm going to go to my bed, but I'm going to go excited and enthralled, knowing that you played a much more major part in tonight, and for that, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. So well done. You can be really proud of what you've achieved tonight. So well done, everybody. Okay. See you all soon. Be safe. Okay.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Boing, baggies.
Bye-bye. Guys, we'll just stay on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Owen needs to go. Yeah, Cam needs to go.
Who?
Got one more. Who's that there at the bottom?
Cam.
Okay. There.
Cam's here to stay.
Cam, one of the keepers. Yeah.
Don't know what's going on here.
He's gone to sleep. Okay, you can stop recording now, Sam, anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. Or do you want to leave it on?
I can carry on recording. I'm just
leave it on. It'd be good for it. Guys, listen, brilliant.
Well, Eric's gonna post this, right? So it's probably a better idea to stop recording.
Yeah, if you want to do that, then.
I can do that. I can edit it out if you want me to. I'll just stop it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.